Hey all. Today we're going to be loading the 9mm. I have here a 124 grain XTP tip from Hornady. It's a pretty nice looking tip. Let's see if I can get it on here. And I've found, for me, and don't use this unless you test it out yourself, but I'm using 4.9 grains of power pistol from Alliant. And for the power pistol, the minimum range is 4.3 grains, and the max is 5.7. And like I said, I found the 4.9 grain to work pretty well. I am going to do a little bit more experimentation with it and probably bump the grain up. But just for the sake of this video, since I shot that round, I know it's good for me. I'm going to just load that right now, just for the sake of this video. Like I said, I'll do a little bit of experimentation later, but for now, it's good. So we have that. Some of the other tools. I have the calipers here. I have the primer sorter, the deburr, chamfer tool. So then you want to take the chamfer tool, a quick couple of spins on here. There you go. Now I've actually already done this brass. I've already done all that. I just kind of wanted to show the process. So now we're going to move that to the back. And I've already showed how to do the primers, and for this I'm using a CCI small pistol. And so you take this, I'm just going to simulate here. You would put that on here, turn it upside down, shake it a little bit so all of the primers are pointed in the right direction. Then you flip it around, pull it off, and go like this. Now, I'm not going to do it again right now because I've done it before in my previous videos, and I already have my primers loaded. So, just kind of wanted to show you. Alright, so at this point, we have everything set up. I've already dumped the power pistol primer in there. And I'm going to take... I have my line filled with the bullets, but for the sake of the video, I'll go ahead and put some more in here. Now, it's going to get a little wobbly here for a second. I'm going to actually have to shoot this by hand. I don't have enough space in my basement to put this camera far enough out to show all of the stuff here. So, now this is about as far back as I can go in my shop from this angle. But I've completely redid my press. I have added the bullet feeder there in the foreground and a case feeder in the background right there. This has automated the whole process. Made it really slick. I really like it. Let me move over here, see if I can get a little bit better view. Try not to show too much of my cluttered basement with all my fishing poles and all that. It is a really, really, really nice setup. I love it. So what we do, dump the bullets up here, and I have already showed this on a previous video. Let me set the focus here. So this here gets turned on. And those fall in just like that. Now normally, I'm going to shut this off. It's kind of noisy. My video camera doesn't pick up my voice and that at the same time. So normally I would dump a whole box in there, but just for this video I'm not going to. Okay, cases, same thing. You dump them up top. Stick a handful in there. They're going to start falling in here. So we got that loaded up. Alright folks, we're going to give it a go. I just want to show you how smooth and automated this process is. And I wanted to pause right here for a second to show you. The first video I did, I was telling you how important it is to get into a pattern. Check the powder, check the primer, put a new case on, and then set the bullet on top of your case. This automated process takes almost all of that out of there, okay? Because you have the automatic case feeder, so I don't need to stick a case on there. I have this automated bullet feeder, which sticks the bullet on there, and I've tweaked the primer process and got it down. I don't need to check the primer anymore. It's automated. I don't have any issues with the primer anymore. And what I was doing, I was not filling it high enough, and I was always having a problem where the last one or two primers would jam. But I found if I take this stick and put it in the primer feeder tube as kind of a follower, it takes care of all the problems. Okay. But then I found out feeding just 10 at a time, which is what I was taught to do, isn't really necessary. So I go ahead, I fill the whole thing up now, and I haven't had any problems with it whatsoever. So now really the only thing that I need to do is check the powder, and I don't need to measure it. I got this tweaked. I got it dialed in at 4.9, and as I was getting it dialed in, the last 10 bullets that I tried, the last 10 cases, I measured the powder. They all came in at exactly 4.9. Exactly. So this powder is metering good. It's good to go. And I know 4.9 grains, I know it comes up to about here on the case. So now really the only thing I need to do is right here, I need to check and just make sure that that powder has been thrown. That's all I need to do in this whole process. And I also need to make sure that I have my powder sitting in there properly. I didn't have the powder dye in there, so it kind of lifted up. So look, good powder. Here, good powder. Good powder. And every once in a while I get a case that leans a little bit. Not a big deal. So there it is, the Hornady press, automated press here. I really recommend these case feeders. This thing is awesome. It's fast. It's completely automated. There's very little that I have to do besides just double checking, make sure everything's loaded good. But man, this thing is sweet. I highly recommend. And as I said, this here's the 9mm that I was loading today. If you have any questions, let me know. And this, the recipe that I have here for this, like I said, don't use it on your own until you actually run it up. You should never trust anything you get on the internet. You know, whenever you get a recipe on the internet or anywhere from anybody, you always want to double check, make sure it fits between the minimum and maximum guidelines in the book that you're using, and double check everything yourself just for safety, because what works for somebody else might not work for you, and you don't really want to risk it. Some pretty serious stuff when it comes to reloading. So if you have any questions or anything, let me know. Semper Fi.